ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपत्कमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागणरघुनाथान्वितं सतं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरं गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण। I was thinking, let's do this last verse and then we can read all the translations again. That way we can summarize the chapter and see if anybody has any questions. So we can do a lot of questions today, like just discussion, casual discussion today if you want. And then if enough devotees join, we can have a quiz also at the end. A lot of the devotees are missing, so I want to catch them when they attend. So we'll see if we can do it today or not. But let's start with the last verse. So Bhagavad Gita 4.42. Just to refresh the one before that we read. Verse 41, Krishna said, "One who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his actions, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus he is not bound by the reactions of work, O conqueror of riches." So there are four parts of this verse. This verse I find very important. One part was that it's very important to act in devotional service, meaning acting in yoga. So very important to follow a process that I keep harping on over and over again. I cannot emphasize the importance of following a process, acting, doing some action, some kind of services or sadhana process on a daily basis to help manifest this transcendental knowledge in your heart. So this chapter is called Transcendental Knowledge. This is eternal ancient wisdom that's spoken from the mouth of Krishna himself. And since this is not the knowledge of this world, it's important that one acts on it before it will manifest in one's heart. So it's important to follow a process of sadhana and service for it to enter in our heart, cause transformation of character, transformation of our negative qualities, and bad desires, unwanted desires go away, and one develops faith in Krishna. So one part of this verse is that you have to act in devotional service. Second part of this verse is that such a person will then be able to follow the Nishkam Karma Yoga very properly. So he will renounce the fruits of his action and his doubts have been destroyed, right? Because he's following a process. He's acting in yoga, so his doubts will be destroyed. We discussed about doubts also, that there are various types of doubts. Certain doubts people hold so strongly in their heart that they are not able to make any progress in spiritual path. And those are sometimes very insignificant doubts, like inconsequential doubts. Like somebody once, this Nursing Chaturdashi just came. So I was listening to one of the classes, and one of the devotees was very strongly arguing about this point with another senior devotee in the class, in a challenging attitude, actually, which is again, remember, it's one should not be in a challenging mood, because once you're in a challenging, arrogant type of mood, the knowledge will not manifest anyways. That will create a wall between you and the knowledge to enter. But his doubt was that, there are all these Ahobilam Kshetram and all these Narsimha Kshetrams in, towards Andhra, towards in some parts of India. But we know that all this Leela happened in different planet. So how can we have all these relics and all these pastime places, ancient places in this yuga, in Bharat Bhumi? So some various, inconsequential doubts like that. And there are so many doubts people have, like Bhagavatam says one cannot go to moon, but we know that we have gone to Mars and we have gone to moon, and Bhagavatam says that this type of interplanetary travel is not possible. So people hold these type of scientific, the differences between modern worldly science and the science given by the scriptures, and they cannot reconcile these type of doubts in their heart, so they give up the entire knowledge, the essence of scriptures for those inconsequential doubts. So we should know what kind of doubts, if there are certain doubts that are hindering your progress in spiritual path, like how to get more firmly situated in sadhana practices. I'm having certain doubts about the process, about the practices, or about my own faith. Then those kind of doubts one should try to eliminate with the help of a guru. But certain doubts will not, one should not hold very strongly in their heart, and we should keep them aside. And when the time is right, when one is mature enough, then those doubts anyways get eliminated by the mercy of Krishna. So this was the second part of this verse, that such a person will be without doubts, firmly situated in the process of yoga, practicing yoga and practicing nishkam karma. The third part of this verse was that such a person will be situated factually in the self. So we discussed many aspects of this particular phrase. Being situated in the self means what? So we understood that such a person has knowledge of the self. He knows his real identity. He knows his true ego. Okay. He knows his position as servant of Krishna. He knows his purpose in this world. He knows the purpose of this world also. Okay. And he knows the position of God and his and how to establish that relationship with God. So this is the factually in the self means he has complete understanding of self-realization, these basic concepts of self-realization. Who am I? Why am I here? Who is God? God is not the order supplier for me. God is my father, my well-wisher, my master, my actual maintainer. And I have to go back to him. That's my purpose here. The world is designed in such a way that if I act properly in this world, it will help me go back. And if I try to enjoy this world, then this world will give me anxiety, frustration, sufferings, disturbances, like that. So this person understands his true identity, his true nature, his purpose, the nature and purpose of this world and of God also. Thus, he is not bound by the reactions of work. So, such a person will then be on a liberated platform. Not bound by reactions means he may be working in this world. It may seem like he's very active. So, what Krishna said, action in inaction. If you all remember that verse, action in inaction. So, such a person is acting, but actually there is no karma to him. There is no karmic reactions to him. He's on a liberated platform. So he's not bound by any reactions. His work has become a karma. So this was the last word. This was the last verse that we did. Now let's go to 42 and we'll read this purport. Tasmadajnana sambhutam. Tasmadajnana sambhutam. Ritstam jnana asinatmana. Ritsam jnana Chitvenam samshayam yogam. Chitvenam samshayam
Yogam
atishto tishta bharata.
Atishto
Atishto
Tishta Bharata.
Can somebody read this translation?
Can I read?
Yes.
Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight.
Okay. So
Hari.
Krishna is rounding up this chapter by saying, Tasmad agyana sambhutam. So agyan means out of the ignorance, right? Agyan means ignorance. So remember that we said any worldly knowledge, material knowledge is typically referred to as agyan. So knowledge outside of self-realization, outside of transcendental knowledge is typically called avidya or agyan. So whatever out of ignorance, the doubts that you have, okay, situated, rit means heart, stham means situated. So whatever agyan or ignorance related doubts you had in your heart, they should be destroyed. Chitvenam means they should be completely slashed by this yoga, by this gyan, or this transcendental knowledge, by the weapon of this knowledge. And armed with this yoga or armed with this knowledge, atishto tishta, meaning atishta means by being situated in this knowledge. Uttishta means get up, O Arjun, and fight.
Utho.
So utho, yes, utishta means utho. Atishto means being situated in this yoga or in this knowledge. Any samshay that you have should be chitvenam, should be destroyed with this knowledge, and you should get up and fight. So basically, Krishna is saying that get this knowledge and destroy all the ignorance, all the doubts that have been created by the misinformation, the misconceptions created by this world, whatever the world has fed you, right? So many moral ethics and logics Arjun was using to Krishna. He was sounding like a learned man, and he was giving all these logics, which sounded actually very pleasing, but they're just the logics, the principles, created by this world, the moral principles created by this world. So those are small dharmas. They are they're not, that's not the eternal knowledge that will not help you please Krishna. So Krishna is saying, get this transcendental knowledge, destroy all those doubts, and fight. Let's see what Prabhupada says. Can you continue reading?
Yes. The yoga system instructed in this chapter is called Sanatan Yoga, or eternal activities performed by the living and identity. This yoga has two divisions of sacrificial actions. One is called sacrifice of one's material possessions, and the other is called knowledge of self, which is pure spiritual activity. If sacrifice of one's material possessions is not dovetailed for spiritual realization, then such sacrifice becomes material. But one who performs such sacrifices with a spiritual objective or in devotional service makes a perfect sacrifice. When we come to spiritual activities, we find that these are also divided into two, namely, understanding of one's own self or one's constitutional position, and the truth regarding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who follows the path of Bhagavad Gita as it is can very easily understand these two important divisions of spiritual knowledge. For him, there is no difficulty in obtaining perfect knowledge of the self as part and parcel of the Lord. And such understanding is beneficial. For such a person can understand the transcendental activities of the Lord. In the beginning of this chapter, the transcendental activities of the Lord were discussed by the Supreme Lord himself.
Let's see if somebody else wants to read. So this is a long purport, so maybe somebody else can read the second half. Who else is available? Namita Mataji, want to read?
Or I can read. Mataji is not available.
Go ahead.
Okay. One who does not understand the instructions of the Gita is faithless and is to be considered to be misusing the fragmental independence awarded to him by the Lord. In spite of such instructions, one who does not understand the real nature of the Lord as the eternal, blissful, all knowing personality of Godhead is certainly fool number one. Ignorance can be removed by a gradual acceptance of the principles of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is awakened by different types of sacrifices to the demigods, sacrifice to the Brahman, sacrifice in celibacy, in household life, in controlling the senses, in practicing mystic yoga, in penance, in foregoing material possessions, in studying the Vedas, and in partaking of the social institution called Varnashram Dharma. All of these are known as sacrifice, and all of them are based on regulated action. But within all these activities, the important factor is self realization. One who seeks that objective is the real student of Bhagavad Gita, but one who doubts the authority of Krishna falls back. One is therefore advised to study Bhagavad Gita or any other scripture under a bona fide spiritual master with service and surrender.
Let me just highlight a couple of points and then we just have a little bit more.
Yeah,
So
let me just mention one thing I wanted to share in this
yes.
is that all these things are mentioned, and it's mentioned that it's for self-realization, but before they mention all these, Prabhupada, he is saying that all these just instigate the development of Krishna consciousness. So, this is any one of these necessarily by itself, if it's not leading to Krishna consciousness, then it's not the complete process. Hare Krishna.
Yes, so basically there are two aspects. One is that you can do all these other type of sacrifices. All these are mentioned in chapter 4 in the initial part, even in chapter 3, demigod worship or worship of impersonal Brahman, sacrificing one's material possessions, various yagyas, and different things were mentioned according to the person's inclination or understanding. So, but Krishna said earlier in this chapter, the main goal is to reach the transcendental knowledge. Okay. But people do these things. The problem is people don't do these things like sacrificing their material possessions or demigod worship, etc. They do not do these things to reach transcendental knowledge or to awaken Krishna consciousness. Their intention is something short term. Their intention is to get more comforts in this world. They want to make their life more comfortable. So that's why they are doing these type of things. And that's why Prabhupada is saying, then all these sacrifices remain on material platform. Somewhere Prabhupada said that. So all these things will remain on material platform unless the intention is to understand Krishna, unless the intention is to achieve transcendental knowledge or achieve, liberation from this world. But if you're trying to make your position more comfortable in this world, then that's all material. Okay, all these activities. Second point is, just like Nagarchand Prabhu said, all these things can be dovetailed. So Prabhupada uses this word many times. You can become familiar with this word, dovetailed. So everything should be dovetailed towards spiritual realization. Dovetailed means should be um, used to feed our Krishna consciousness. Let's say you are inclined towards some type of charities or some types of yagyas or some types of demigod worship, or you are inclined towards some limbs of Ashtang yoga, right? You like to sit in meditation, you like to sit in silence, various aspects of Ashtang yoga or various deity worship people like, various types of yagyas people like. So all those things have value only if you dovetail them towards your Krishna consciousness, towards your spiritual realization, meaning enhance your Krishna consciousness with those activities, not degrade your Krishna consciousness by doing those things for material comforts, okay, for worldly things. If you're doing those things for worldly things, then you will not be able to develop Krishna consciousness because you still have you have desires to enjoy in this world. So if you have enjoy tendency, then you're doing those things for material things and they will degrade your Krishna consciousness. You will soon lose your Krishna consciousness. But if you dovetail them so that your Krishna consciousness becomes more enhanced, okay, it's like somebody likes to do let's say various breathing exercises. So those breathing exercises, if one is doing to get some mystic powers, let's say they go to jungle and they do those long asanas and postures and lot of ascetic practices and pranayams and all to get some mystic powers, so that they become very powerful or they become very beautiful so they can attract the opposite gender, then those are all worldly things, right? But if you do those practices, so you can become more centered and grounded, and you can now chant the Lord's names properly, so that your consciousness can become cleansed, and you have better focus when you are reading or studying scriptures, right? So then that same practice is now enhancing your Krishna consciousness. So in this way, those other activities should not be done by themselves for the purpose of worldly things. They will just cause degradation. That's the main thing I wanted to clarify here. They should be dovetailed. Everything should be dovetailed. Not only these type of spiritual activities, but even completely worldly things like our jobs, our money, our resources, our family. Everything should be dovetailed towards Krishna consciousness, actually. What to speak of these peripheral spiritual activities, these secondary spiritual activities. Where were we? And this was the main point that I wanted to highlight, but let's finish this purport. Let's read from here. Okay, Prabhupada said, within all these activities, the important factor is self-realization. So I think you understood that point. Let's read from here. One who seeks. Can somebody else read now?
Yes,
I can.
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mataji.
One who seeks the objective is the real student of Bhagavad Gita, but one who doubts the authority of Krishna falls back. One is therefore advised to study Bhagavad Gita or any other scripture under a bona fide spiritual master with service and surrender. A bona fide spiritual master is in a disciplic succession from time eternal, and he does not deviate at all from the instructions of the Supreme Lord as they were imparted millions of years ago to the Sun God, from whom the instructions of Bhagavad Gita have come down to the earthly kingdom. One should therefore follow the path of Bhagavad Gita as it is expressed in the Gita itself, and beware of self-interested people after personal aggrandizement who deviate others from the actual path. The Lord is definitely the Supreme Person, and his activities are transcendental. One who understands this is a liberated person from the very beginning of his study of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so this ends the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 4th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of transcendental knowledge. Hari Bol. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations on finishing this chapter. This last part, I think, is very clear. Prabhupada is again talking about the importance of a bona fide spiritual master who comes in the disciplic succession, who speaks the same knowledge that Krishna intends for us to understand. The intention should be to connect us to Krishna, to engage us in the service of Krishna. And he does not speak anything different from Bhagavad Gita, that as it is. That's it. So let's, I was thinking, let's read all the translations. How many people are here in the call? And not everybody may be able to read if you're at work or something. So let's say we have 10 people and we have 42 verses. Can everybody read maybe 4 verses each? Just 4 translations, and then we'll take some question answers. This way we can revise the whole chapter. Who wants to start? And just keep continuing. Please decide who wants to read the next and just keep picking up without any delay if possible.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, I can start.
Yes.
Text 1. The personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god.
And this knowledge degrades over time. And since it deteriorates, I have to come every so often to reestablish it again and again. Remember, these are the memory verses, the significant verses. And important here is that Krishna comes to establish this knowledge, to establish dharma, but also, most importantly, to engage his devotees in service, to engage beautiful relationships, create these wonderful, extraordinary pastimes in this world that we talk about, that are very purifying and auspicious to hear. And then also he will annihilate demons while he's here. And these are his activities that all comprise the transcendental knowledge. So transcendental knowledge, the basics of it is the fundamentals of it is the knowledge of self, knowledge of him, of this world, and of the yoga process. But then the transcendental knowledge, as it becomes deeper and deeper, the highest peak of that transcendental knowledge is to understand the activities and pastimes of the Lord himself. So what does he do in his home? What does he do in Golok Vrindavan? How does he exchange various relationships and various activities with his devotees? So all those things are the peak of that transcendental knowledge, actually. But it starts with this basic Bhagavad Gita knowledge of self, of prakriti, of time, of yoga, of karma, of all of Bhagwan, like that. Okay, let's read the next 4.
Yes, Mataji, I'll read it. Okay. Text 9. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Text 10. Being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me. Text 11. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Partha. Text 12. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men gets results from fruitive work in this world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This is Pritha. Pritha is Arjuna's mother, Queen Kunti. And so that's why his name is Partha. So Krishna says this is very significant verse again. Krishna says that it's very important to know my transcendental knowledge. So you are so absorbed in this knowledge of this world, which does not even, which will last you this lifetime. It will help you for some portion of this life, but that's it. And you cannot carry it in the next life at all. None of your degrees, certificates carry on. But this transcendental knowledge of my activities is very auspicious. So, and such a person who immerses in this knowledge rather than worldly knowledge, that they'll never take birth again in this material world because they have attached themselves to him, to Krishna. So he said, so just get fully absorbed in me, okay? And to the extent, then again, significant verse here, 4.11, very, very, very important verse, that to the extent you surrender to me, to the extent you take my shelter, have faith in me and approach me, to that extent, I reveal myself, I reward you, I reciprocate with you. So Krishna will reveal himself, this knowledge will reveal itself according to the extent that you are immersing yourself in it. But then Krishna says, but people have other desires. People want to do various fruitive activities. They do not want to come back to him. They want to stay absorbed in this world. So since they want to stay absorbed in this world, they worship the demigods. Okay, who can read the next 4?
I can read, Mataji.
Yes, please.
Text 13. According to the 3 modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the 4 divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. Text 14. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. Text 15. All the liberated souls in the ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duties following in their footsteps. And text 16. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. Hare Krishna.
So now Krishna talks about how people, because of they do not have inclination towards him, they have different intentions, different desires, different types of enjoyer tendencies. So accordingly, Krishna has divided 4 divisions of human society, the varnas, the 4 social systems into which this society is divided. So we have discussed this in great detail, extensive detail, according to people's the three modes according to their qualities, but not according to their birth, according to their guna and karmas, okay, according to their activities and their qualities. This distinction into four divisions is made in the society. But Krishna said, I'm aloof from those type of distinctions. So even though it may appear that Krishna comes in Brahman family or Vaishya family or Shudra family or something, but actually he's not bound by those type of distinctions. There is no work for him. So work or karma, this principle is applicable to people of this world. For the jivas who are here in this prison, this world is like a prison. So we have to do karma. We have to do actions because we need to purify ourselves. And we have to do it in the way of akarma. We have to do it in a way that that karma will not bind us. It's like prisoners in a prison, in a cell. They have various work to do, right? They have so many things assigned to them throughout the day that they have to do in the prison house. But a warden doesn't have, or a prime minister who may visit the prison house will not have to do those works because he's beyond that kind of work. The work is meant for the prisoners for their engagement, for their purification, to engage their various qualities, so that they can slowly, gradually purify themselves. So, so in that way, we should try to understand this karma is applicable only to us. And if Krishna comes and seems to be doing some kind of work, those are his leelas. He just wants to engage in some type of activities with his devotees in this world. Does not mean that he has to do any kind of karmas. So he's not forced to do anything. He's not forced to take birth. He's not forced to come in a particular family, in a particular varna, or in a particular ashram. And he's not forced to do any kind of work. It's us that have to do follow these rules, these laws of material world for our purification. And all the liberated souls know these principles. So understand this transcendental nature of mine. Krishna says, understand my transcendental nature and do your duty, okay, following in their footsteps. And what is your duty? To do akarma. So you do those works, various types of work that have been assigned to you, but do it in a way that it will not bind you, okay? So intelligent people then Krishna says that people cannot understand these principles of karma, action, inaction. They get confused. But I will explain all this to you. Now I shall explain all this to you, what action is, what inaction is. So let's read the next four. Who can read this?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, I can read. From text 17, right, Mataji?
Yes.
The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. Text 18. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. Text 19. One is understood to be in full knowledge whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Text 20. Abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so this is straightforward. Krishna said it's very hard to understand, but you all understand because Krishna has now explained it. We have discussed it many times. So there is karma, there is forbidden action, which is vikarma, and there is inaction, which is akarma. So there is karma, akarma, and vikarma. I hope everybody knows those distinctions. This was a difficult verse, if you remember. I mentioned this just now. I don't know what I said. I may have said it wrong, but one of this is good, one is not that good. Inaction in action is akarma. So one who sees inaction in action, okay, which means that, I don't know what I said before. I have to always think about it a little. Inaction is karma, which means that even though you're doing an action, but there is no reaction. So this is called smart work. This is basically, it's like we took the example of a doctor going to see a COVID patient, but they put a mask on. So they do not contract COVID. They do not get infected by the virus, right? So they are doing, so they are not getting infected by the reaction of the work. So do work in such a way that you do not get infected by the reactions of that work. So that is smart work, okay? So in action. And how do you do that kind of work? That's called Nishkam Karma Yoga or a karma. You do that in the mood of service with intention to please God, with intention to satisfy Him. Okay, not just to satisfy your own senses or your own short-term agendas. This is the real intelligence. Okay, so such persons are devoid of desires for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom reactions of work have been burnt up by the fire. Right. So sages say that such a person is very intelligent. He's a learned person who engages in akarma. They do not get any reactions. Such a person becomes satisfied, completely independent, and he performs no fruitive action. No fruitive meaning he does not get any entanglement or any results of that action, even though he's engaged in all kinds of undertakings. So he will do so many things, but none of those will bind him because he's doing for the pleasure of Krishna. Okay, so this was the concept of Nishkam Karma Yoga or Akarma. Can somebody read the next 4?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Text 21. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus, working, he is not affected by sinful reactions. Text 22. He who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord, who is freed from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled although performing actions. Text 23. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. Text 24. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Krishna is further giving the qualities of such a person engaged in akarma. Okay, that is, mind and intelligence is perfectly controlled. You have to have mind, intelligence, and sense control. If you don't have control over those things, then you would be distracted by the temptations of this world, right? It is not possible to do akarma. It is not possible to do anything with service or servitude because your senses, mind, and intelligence want to enjoy. So they have enjoy tendencies. They are part of this body. They want to enjoy. So unless you control them and keep them always situated, grounded, that, hey, you are not enjoyer, you are the servant. So stay in that mood of servitude towards the Lord. Work for His pleasure. Only then you will be able to do anything in the mood of akarma. Otherwise, if you have uncontrolled senses, uncontrolled mind and intelligence, you will be enjoying in the world and you will not be able to do akarma. So such a person does not have proprietorship over his possessions, right? Because he uses all his possessions, all his money, all his resources, everything, engages it all in the service of Lord, acts only for the bare necessities of life. Nothing belongs to him. He knows that. He knows who the true proprietor and maintainer of everything is. So for himself, he just gets bare necessities, something to keep him going. And he just gets whatever comes of its own accord. We have discussed this concept. We'll discuss it again tomorrow, hopefully. But this concept, Prahlad Maharaj mentions many times that we should not strive too hard for happiness or distress and just get just whatever comes of its own accord with honest labor. That's all you should take. Don't try too hard. Don't over endeavor. And so such a man who works like this is merged into transcendence. So he's on a transcendence means all his activities have become spiritual. He has realized his true unlimited spiritual potential. He's behaving in this world on spiritual platform. He's using this world in a spiritual way, not material way. His interactions, everything have become very, very divine. So he's completely transcendental. He's using his body for spiritual purposes. He's using his work, his friends, his family members, everything in a very, very spiritual way. Okay, all his dealings are very spiritual. So which means he is completely situated in his real self, real identity as a spirit soul, as servant of Krishna. Such a person is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because he's fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Now Krishna again compares this to yajna, in which the consummation is absolute. Consummation is absolute means completely consumed into the absolute. All his mind, senses, intelligence, everything is consumed completely in the absolute. As if in a yajna you give ahutis, right? You offer so many oblations. So he has offered all his things, all his mind, senses, intelligence, resources, talents, faculties, facilities, everything he has offered as an oblation into the fire of this yajna of Krishna consciousness. So this is compared to like a yajna. Let's continue. Next 4, who wants to read?
Can I read?
Yes, please.
Text 25. Some yogis perfectly worship the demigods by offering different sacrifices to them, and some offer sacrifices in the fire of the Supreme Brahman. Text 26. Some, the unadulterated brahmacharis, sacrifice the hearing process and the senses in the fire of mental control, and others, the regulated householders, sacrifices the objects of the senses in the fire of the senses. Text 27. Others who are interested in achieving self-realization through control of the mind and senses offer the functions of all the senses and of the life breath as oblations into the fire of the controlled mind. Text 28. Having accepted strict vows, some become enlightened by sacrificing their possessions, and others by performing severe austerities by practicing the yoga of an eightfold mysticism, or by studying the Vedas to advance in transcendental knowledge. Haribol.
I will not discuss these. These are other paths given. Basically, different people, according to their capabilities, are offering different things. And we understood from this last verse that we just read that all of these things should be offered for the purpose of self-realization. The ultimate goal should be transcendental knowledge or self-realization. So let's keep going. Ramchandra Prabhu, were you wanting to read?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu, go ahead.
Text 29. Still others who are inclined to the process of breath retrained to remain in trance, practice by offering the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming and incoming breath into the outgoing, and thus at last remain in trance, stopping all breathing. Others curtailing the eating process, offer the outgoing breath into itself as a sacrifice. Text 30. All these performers who know the meaning of sacrifice become cleansed of sinful reactions, and having tasted the nectar of the results of sacrifices, they advance toward the supreme eternal atmosphere. Text 31. O best of the Kuru dynasty, without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next? Text 32. All these different types of sacrifice are approved by the Vedas, and all of them are born of different types of work. Knowing them as such, you will become liberated.
Okay.
Text.
Let's see if somebody else can read. Next 4.
I can read, Mataji.
Yes.
Text 33. O chastiser of the enemy, the sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possessions. After all, O son of Pritha, all sacrifices of work culminate in transcendental knowledge. Text 34. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Text 35. Having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, that they are mine. Text 36. Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all the sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the oceans of miseries.
Thank you for reading. Hare Krishna. So in this sequence, the most important verse is this verse 34, because Krishna says you can do all these other things. Ultimately, they should all culminate in transcendental knowledge. And the best process to get the knowledge is by approaching a spiritual master. There were three things that you do when you approach the spiritual master. First of all, you approach submissively with humility. You ask questions by you ask inquiries, like relevant inquiries, right, in a submissive way. Inquire from him, and then offer service unto him. So offer service means like either hearing from them or serving their body or whatever, following their instructions, like that. So submission is important, inquiries is important, and serving them is important. Pranipat, pariprashna, and then sevya. So these are the three words in this: pranipatena, pariprashnena, and sevya. These three things are the ingredients that will satisfy the spiritual master. And we discussed what is a bona fide spiritual master. We discussed why we need a living guru. Living guru is important because they will constantly steer you in the right direction. So they will constantly offer corrections. They will offer a process that you can follow. They will monitor your progress, right? They'll keep you sincere. They'll keep you aligned on the path so you don't fall off. They will give you instruction so you can keep serving them. They'll engage you in various services to keep you occupied, because our mind, intelligence, senses need constant services to keep us occupied. Otherwise, if we don't occupy them in service of Krishna or service of Guru, they become occupied in this world. So Guru gives different services. He gives processes. He gives corrections. He gives instructions. He gives knowledge. And ultimately serving them is the stepping stone to serving or to receiving mercy from Krishna, to receiving blessings from further rest of the disciplic succession from all our acharyas and all. So he's a transparent medium by which you see Krishna, basically. So that's the most significant verse here. And then we did these recently where Krishna gave these analogies that this transcendental knowledge is like a boat. If you remember, I talked about two analogies. One is where it's like a boat, and you can travel in that boat of transcendental knowledge and cross over the ocean of miseries. So this is Bhav Sagar, which is where there are waves of disturbances, waves of anxieties, problems, temptations, distractions, enjoyments, happiness and distress, right? So many things will keep coming. And in that ocean with so many waves constantly coming, the transcendental knowledge is like the boat. And you need a boatman, which is the guru. The captain of that ship is the guru. And the other analogy that Krishna gives us of the blazing fire, just like a fire turns the forest into the firewood into ashes, similarly, the transcendental knowledge will destroy all your reactions, all your karmic debt that you have collected over time. Okay, let's have somebody read next 4.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Okay. Text 37. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. Text 38. In this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism, and one who has become accomplished in the practice of devotional service enjoys this knowledge within himself in due course of time. Text 39. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. Text 40. But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so since we have recently done this in the last class, I'll just continue. Can somebody read the last 2?
I can read, Mataji.
Yes.
Um, But one who acts in devotional
You
service.
can read from here, 41 and 42.
Okay. One who acts in devotional service, renouncing fruits of his actions, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus, he is not bound by reaction of work or conqueror of riches. Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the last few verses, basically, Krishna is giving us the value of this knowledge, how this is like a boat in the ocean, how this is like fire that burns the firewood. So this fire will burn all our sinful or all our good and bad reactions. Then he said it's very sublime, it's very pure. And it's the mature fruit of all other mysticism. So all these other mystic practices, yoga, sacrifices, all these other things that you were doing, the mature fruit of all of that is this transcendental knowledge. So eventually this knowledge will enter within your heart and you will enjoy this knowledge within yourself, within himself in due course of time. So this gives us hope, for all of us that if we stick to this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, continue the process, keep reading, keep hearing, then this knowledge will manifest in the heart. Our faith will grow, and knowledge will also bloom like a flower. And such a faithful man who is dedicated to the transcendental knowledge and he subdues his senses. We discussed very, very important to subdue your senses. So I keep mentioning this over and over again. You engage in controlling your senses, mind, and intelligence at the same time. So you have to regulate your senses. You have to follow a discipline. Disciple is one who follows a discipline. So disciple is not just doing whatever in their life, just nonsensical things. So start curtailing your senses some and start engaging them also. So there are certain do's and don'ts that you should follow. Some things you restrict and somewhere you engage your senses. Like that, start subduing your senses. And then quickly he will get this knowledge and achieve supreme spiritual peace. But people that are ignorant, faithless, and we discussed about faith last time. So when we say faith, what does that mean? We don't seem to have very much faith either, but we have enough faith to at least start exploring this process and try, slowly our faith will grow. But this faithless here is referring to a kind of people who are who have more faith in the um, various things offered by the world, okay, the science of this world, the process of this world, the various allurements of this world. So they have more faith towards that, but they do not have faith in the revealed scriptures at all. They do not have faith enough to even explore the process. So they're ignorant and faithless persons. They will not attain God consciousness, except at least not quickly. It will take a while. So the more faithless we are, harder it will be, slower our progress will be. It will take a while for us to become firm. So and we discussed about how our faith grows. The faith grows by something called Bhakti Poshak Sukriti. So you should engage in those activities that nourish our faith. And serving the devotees, going to the temples, like these festivals that we celebrate, fasting on Ekadashi days or fasting on these festival days, trying to chant the holy names, those things will improve our faith. Of course, this is again talking about completely faithless people who are not even on this path at all. But for us, the point is that we, as faithless as we are, the slower the progress will be to the extent that we are faithless. So let's try to clear our doubts. Let's try to grow our faith as much as possible. And for the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. So the more the doubts about self-realization, it'll be harder for them. They'll keep going from life to life until some causeless mercy happens. Okay, and this we discussed today in detail, 41 and 42. So I'll stop for this, for the discussion. Let's see if there are any. Actually, Nagarjun Prabhu has prepared a quiz. So if you're okay, let's play the quiz. It's about 20 questions, I believe. I'll give it over to him, hand it over to him. Can we get another device and have some question answers? It's a game called Kahoot. I don't know if some of you have played. Some of you have played it, not everyone. So, who wants to play the game?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Lakshmi Mataji is saying yes. What happens to our old-time devotees? I do not hear much from. Are they okay to play? Rekha Mataji or
Yes, Mataji, let's go.
Yes, Mataji, let's play.
Sheetal Mataji?
I don't know if I will remember everything, but okay.
Mataji, it's very basic question. So, yeah.
Okay.
And Puja Mataji, let's get another device while I'm pulling this up on the screen, and I'll hand it over to Nagarjun Pro to play. Please stay, and this is a fun way to learn. This is actually a lot of fun because those concepts that you did not know will become more firm, or even if you knew, will become more firm in your heart. Okay, I'm trying to pull it up. Somebody left already. But I'm sharing.
Good, they got scared of us. Good. Now we'll be first.
Okay, let's. I don't know what all this is. So many things these days. Chapter 4. What do I have to do? This one? Continue with no island. Let's do this. Classic, yes.
Give me a few minutes, Mataji. I will join.
Yes, Prabhu. So this is the
Please.
game pin. 1992017. You need the volume less or more? Please tell me of the music. Okay, Hari is here. Please get a second device and start. Manisha Mataji is here. Pooja. Sheetal Mataji. Very good. Ramchandra Prabhu. Whoever plays in the game will get extra mercy because it's an effort you're making for Krishna. Even though you feel anxious, you feel you may not know, but you are putting those anxieties and fears aside and going out of your comfort zone to do something more, to learn, to show an effort that I'm learning. Okay, I have 6 people.
Give me 1 second, Mataji. I'm trying to get in. I don't know. I'm using my daughter's iPad and it's saying create an account.
No, you can just bypass that.
Yeah, Mataji, you can do Kahoot join and it will give you.
You don't need
directly.
account.
Not
Yeah.
giving me Kahoot join. Hold on.
Okay, Devakshi, Mataji, Prabhuji, you have to play separate.
Okay.
दो को अलग अलग खेलना पड़ेगा. They're joining forces. I know Association of Devotees is good and we should join forces against Maya, but this is not against devotees. We need not join forces.
Oh, goodness. That is so slow.
I see Ravi Prabhu is in. Let's see. Who is Hari?
That's me, Mataji, hero.
Oh, here. Okay. And let's see who's left. Jyoti Mataji, Ramesh Prabhu, I don't see yet.
Mataji, I don't have another device, so I'll just listen.
Mataji, how about you join from your device and Nagarjun Prabhu will be speaking the question and options.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Are you on phone? Are you on phone or laptop?
1, 9.
You know, even if somebody's on laptop, there is an option to do 2 screens now.
One.
I'm on the phone, so yeah, with laptop it's possible, but on the phone,
Phone, it's not, yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
1, 9, 9, 2,
Right. Yeah.
0,
Steve.
1.
Mataji, today I am at outside with phone. I will try, Mataji.
Sure, no problem. And Nagarjuna Prabhu will say the questions and choices very clearly so that
Yes.
you can hopefully just, you will lose that visual. You know, you can't see the question, so that will set you back a little. But at least you can hear and then quickly mark the question. So still you get points for playing.
Sure, Mataji.
Okay. I guess everybody's in. The only person I don't see is Ramesh Prabhu. Are you playing? And Radha is Rekha Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, good. Okay, so I'm not getting anything from him. Maybe he's at work. So how many people we have? 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But we have 14, 12, 13. Okay, I think that's fine. Let's get started, okay? All right. बैठे बैठे क्या करें, करना है कुछ काम, लेके कहूट शुरू करो हरि का नाम. Okay, let's get started. Chapter 4, Bhagavad Gita. Nagarjuna Prabhu, are you going to lead it?
Whatever you want, that's fine.
Go
Fine.
ahead, then you have to speak quickly.
Yeah, okay.
What
So,
is the
what is the name of chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita? Karma Yoga, Transcendental Knowledge, Dhyan Yoga, or Knowledge of the Absolute?
A, Karma Yoga, B, Transcendental Knowledge, C, Dhyan Yoga, D, Knowledge of Absolute? Okay, Transcendental Knowledge. I didn't get all the answers in. Just got 8 answers and 11 people are playing.
So remember, this is timed. You have only 20 seconds for most answers. Some questions have 30 seconds, but most is going to be 20 seconds. And the faster you answer, the higher your score is going to be.
Nagarjuna Prabhu, can you say the question and choices fast? Because some devotees have one screen only.
Okay, sure.
So, so that at least they can get that in, and then you can speak it slowly again if you want.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Who received the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita from Manu? A. Ikshvaku, B. Vivaswan, C. Arjun, or D. Narad Muni?
Who
So
received the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita from Manu?
A option is Ikshvaku, B is Vivaswan, C is Arjun, or D is Narad Muni.
I lowered the volume also. Okay, so 5 people got it right, 5 people got it wrong. So Vivaswan is sun god. Krishna gave the knowledge to sun god Vivaswan. Vivaswan, sun god, gave it to Manu. And the question is asking, who did Manu give it to? So Manu gave it to Ikshvaku. So Vivaswan is the first limb of knowledge from Krishna to Vivaswan. Vivaswan to Manu. Okay? Second limb is Vivaswan to Manu. Third is Manu to Ikshvaku. So we are asking the last link that Krishna has mentioned, not the first one. So Ikshvaku. Okay, Ikshvaku, remember, is the Maharaja of the Raghuvansha dynasty. Before Raghu came, before Ramachandra came, a long time before that, Ikshvaku came. Okay, let's continue.
Next question. How did the saintly kings of the past receive or understand the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita? A. By hearing. B. By disciplic succession. C. By understanding from people who have seen the truth. Or D. All of the above. By hearing, by disciplic succession, by understanding from people who have seen the truth, or all of the above. How did the saintly kings of the past? Yes. So most people got it right. That the process of understanding knowledge of Bhagavad Gita in the past, Krishna says, was by hearing and by understanding from people who have seen the truth. So that's partly from 4.34 also, we know, and by disciplic succession. It was learned to people by disciplic succession.
Okay. Next one.
Next question. Why was Arjun told about the science of Bhagavad Gita by Krishna? A, because he was a Kshatriya. B, because he was a Brahmin. C, because he was a devotee and friend of Krishna. Or D, because Krishna was his charioteer. So why was Arjuna chosen by Krishna to be told about the science of Bhagavad Gita? Because he was Kshatriya, A, Brahmin, B, or he was a devotee and friend of Krishna, or D, because he was charioteer. Okay. So the right answer is C. That's correct, because he was a devotee and friend of Krishna.
So
So
one
Krishna
has to
says
be
this.
favorably. So this is another thing about how Hiranyakashipu cannot get the knowledge, because he's not favorably engaged in the service of Krishna. So we were talking about how Hiranyakashipu, Ravan, and all these people are very learned, but their wisdom, their learning is very superficial because they're not favorably engaged in service of Krishna. They're not favorable towards Krishna. Their mood is unfavorable. So even though they're thinking of Krishna, but in a very offensive way, envious way, right? But Arjun is very pleasing towards Krishna, very humble devotee and servant of Krishna. Okay. Dasanudas is a streak with 4 correct answers in a row. Puja Mataji is at the top. Okay, let's keep going. Next one.
Parantapa refers to, so who is called Parantapa? Krishna, as he is subduer of his enemies. Arjuna, as he can shoot arrows from both hands. Krishna, C, as he has beautiful hair. Or D, Arjuna, as he is subduer of his enemies. So Parantapa is mentioned in chapter 4. Which of the options is A, Krishna, B, Arjuna, C, Krishna? So yeah, so most people got it right still. Some people got confused. So Parantapa refers to Arjun as he is the subduer of his enemies. So remember, in Bhagavad Gita, names are given to Arjun and Krishna based upon their qualities. And the Parantapa is subduer of enemies, and Krishna refers to Arjuna as Parantapa. So
word here, Arjun shooting arrows from both hands. What is this name called? Bonus points.
Sabyasachi.
I knew Shital Mataji would know this.
Very well.
Sabyasachi, yes.
What about C?
Okay, no, hold on. Which chapter? There is only one time Krishna calls Arjun Sabyasachi. So which chapter does he say that in Bhagavad Gita? Entire Bhagavad Gita, only one time he calls him Sabyasachi. Chapter 11. He says, Nimitta matra bhav Sabyasachi. Oh, Arjun just becomes my instrument only. What about this one? Krishna has beautiful hair. What name is that?
I know it, Mataji, but if somebody wants to answer,
Let's see. Krishna having beautiful hair. Beautiful hair. What is that name called?
Mukunda, Mataji.
Think about what hair is called in Hindi. In Sanskrit.
Keshav.
Keshava.
Keshav, yes. Mukunda means that gives liberation, giver of liberation. Keshav, yes. And there is another meaning of Keshav, killer of Keshi demon also.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. Up 3 places. Manisha is the highest climber. Very nice. Okay, next one.
Krishna appears, so the reason, when there is decline in irreligious practices, A, B, to deliver the pious, C, when there is rise of religious practices, or D, all of the above. So A, when there is decline in irreligious practices. B, to deliver the pious. C, when there is rise of religious practices. Or D, all of the above. So yeah, so this was confusing. And also people, I think, didn't get chance. So it's difficult with only one device. That's why, because some of these have long stems and they can be a little confusing unless you are seeing it.
Yeah, Nagarjuna Prabhu used a trick here. He said when there is a decline in irreligious practices, meaning when there is decline in adharma. So he just twisted it instead of decline in dharma. And when there is rise of religious practices, rise of dharma. So that's not when Krishna comes. He says, I come when there is rise of a dharma and decline of dharma. So he just used a trick here because everybody typically goes for all of the above. But we didn't get all the answers in this one. So yeah, it was just tricky.
How many people don't have another device?
I think Ramchandra Prabhu and Jyoti Mataji said they didn't. At least
Okay.
the ones that shared that didn't.
I'm at outside.
But Ramchandra Prabhu, you're doing so amazing still. You're on the
Yeah.
scoreboard.
No, thank you.
You're up there. Look at that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
it's
keep
difficult
going.
with one device still.
Next one.
Next question is, who attains the eternal abode of Krishna? A, one who performs charity and does not do wrong in life. B, one who does yagnas and given in Vedas for fruitive actions. C, one who knows transcendental nature of appearance and activities of Krishna. Or D, one who has never wronged anyone in their life.
Eternal abode of Krishna. Yes. Wow, wonderful. So it's not just charity and not doing wrong is not enough. Never wronged anyone in life is not enough. Just doing yagya for fruitive results is definitely not going to keep you here in this world. So all these other activities make you pious. They will make you sattvic. Maybe you're following Vedic principles to some extent, but they will not take you to the eternal abode of Krishna. They're not enough to take you back to Godhead. So this is 4.9. You have to immerse yourself, absorb yourself you have to know this transcendental knowledge and absorb in the knowledge of Krishna. Okay. Next one. Let's keep going.
True or false? As one surrenders unto Krishna, he rewards them accordingly. Is that true or false? A is true, B is false.
Yes, true. So Krishna responds according to our surrender, responds according to the extent that we take his shelter, he rewards. Okay. Can anybody quote the verse number without looking? Quickly. If not, then we'll continue. So this is 4.11. Okay, let's keep going. Next one.
Perfectly situated impersonalists attain this destination. A. Liberation into Brahman effulgence of Lord. B. Cannot get liberation and are doomed to suffer in hell. C. Transcendental bliss in loving service of Krishna. Or D. Continue existence as ghosts. So, perfectly situated impersonalist. What do they attain?
Impersonalist. Yes, into the Brahman effulgence of the Lord, right? They will not become ghost. I mean, because impersonal means that they're trying for effulgence of Lord. They're trying for liberation. They're frustrated with this world, so they want to get out of here. They want moksha. They want salvation. They want to merge into the body of the Lord. So they will not become ghost. They will go to a higher platform, but they will not get bliss in the loving service of Krishna. Service and bliss is very, very much higher. They will get bliss to a certain extent, but very limited bliss. They cannot get liberation and are doomed to suffer in hell. That's not true. They will get liberation because that's what they're aspiring for. So they will get liberation, but into the Brahman effulgence of Lord, which is not the highest, but a little bit beyond this world.
So it is kind of related to the ye yathamam prapadyante, right? Whatever they're aiming for, Krishna will give them that. They are perfectly situated in what they want, and Krishna will reciprocate like that. But he won't give them higher than that.
Okay. Yes. Next one.
For getting temporary material benefits quickly, A. Worship Krishna. B. Worship demigods. C. Chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra regularly. Or D. Keep Ekadashi Vrata for attaining pure devotional service. So in this chapter, what is said? For getting temporary material benefits, what do people do? They worship demigods. That is correct.
Perfect. Ekadashi Vrata is for pure devotional service. The answer is given in the question itself. Worshipping
प्रभु
Krishna
जी
is devotional service.
थोड़ा ट्रिकी है प्रभु जी, कृष्णा को भी वर्शिप करिएगा तो क्विकली मिल जाएगा आपको गेम।
नहीं प्रभु जी, not necessarily.
Temporary material
temporary.
benefits तो नहीं
कृष्णा को करेंगे तो permanent benefits मिलेंगे आपको, not temporary.
Remember,
If it is
Krishna
meant
is
for you, he will give it to you.
Yeah, then it's permanent.
Yeah, yeah. If it is meant for you, temporary benefit, he'll give it to you. It's very tricky thing. But again, yeah, for people like understanding right now, this is good.
So Krishna will not give temporary material benefits just because we want something. It's like a child asking a father to give cigarettes. He will not give, but a demigod will give. So
No,
temporary.
Mataji, what I'm saying is temporary benefit if it is meant for our like progress.
So that is
Say,
in any case
yeah,
long term then, right? That means it is
yeah.
somehow helping long term. So still he's not giving it for that benefit. He's giving it because it's long term helping us. But demigod will give it for the quick short term benefit itself.
Actually, Krishna says that if you want temporary benefits, it's easy. Maya keeps you away from Krishna by giving this temporary material benefits. So yes, you somebody is going to pray to Krishna for temporary material things, not to demigods for temporary material things. They're going to get that. They're going to be happy, and they'll stay in this material world. But Krishna, if you pray to Krishna for them, he will only give it to you if it is good for you in the long term.
So still they are long term, right? They're not. Anyways, I know what Prabhuji is saying, but that's just confusing concept. The main thing is we should not be asking temporary material benefits. Okay, let's keep going. Next one.
Who created Varnas and Ashramas? Brahmins, Sun God, Lord Brahma, or Lord Krishna? So Varnas and Ashrams are created by A. Brahmanas, B. Sun God, C. Lord Brahma, or D. Lord Krishna.
Who created Varna, the four social and four spiritual orders? Okay, Lord Krishna, what is this scope of confusion here? Brahmanas or Sun God or Lord Brahma, where do they come into picture? Krishna says that.
Mataji, it's a button issue, Mataji.
Oh, okay. Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam, right? So Krishna created the four social and spiritual orders. Okay. We lost two more people that didn't answer this time. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Two more people. But Puja Mataji is unrivaled, and Dasanudas and Chital Mataji, this scoreboard has stayed same for a long time now. The first 3 or 4 have been the topmost. Puja Mataji is like the unconquerable Kahoot player. Okay, let's keep going. Next one.
True or false? Krishna described what is action, forbidden action, and inaction. These are very easy to understand as per Krishna. True or false? So, oh, okay. Krishna says that these are very difficult to understand, actually, directly from a verse, 4th chapter. Krishna says that it is that these are very difficult to understand, but he will explain it then after that. For you all wonderful devotees, now after Narangi has explained it so wonderfully, it is all easy to understand. But Krishna describes it as difficult to understand.
Yeah, especially in action, because we don't know how to do a karma. And so many things we think are, pious activities, and we confuse them with service. But the intention behind those pious activities stays contaminated if you dig deep, those pious activities, people are still aiming for short-term benefits only by doing those pious activities. So, and so many vikarma also we do actually. Even though we are devotees, we are supposed to be very pure, but we justify a lot of our activities, unnecessary activities that we do. We justify those also. So, this is very intricate still, despite whatever we have explained. The intricacies of action remains very hard. We are acting all the time. Continuously, we are doing things. And it becomes very murky to differentiate between action, inaction, and forbidden action. So we have to be very careful.
Even actually devotees, senior devotees sometimes have problems in understanding this, or people we get questions in devotee association that I'm doing this action, and this is my thought behind it, that I'm doing it for Krishna in this way, but how do I know that it is not my mind tricking me that I need this for service of Krishna and
Most of
not
the
my
time, it is
personal,
mind tricking you.
right?
Yes. If you think you're doing something for Krishna, your mind is probably just making an excuse. So we're justifying many unnecessary activities that we are doing in our life, and mind is tricking that we're doing it for service of Krishna, but actually there is some short-term agenda that we have. So we have to be very introspective, be very contemplative. Okay, let's keep going. Next one. Again, those are more difficult concepts for now. Let's keep going. Next one.
If Arjun would have not fought in the war, it would be considered, if Arjun did not fight, A, action in Krishna consciousness, B, inaction as he is not fighting, C, take sannyas to medicate on the Lord, thus a karma, or D, action in inaction. So if he would not fight, then what would it be considered? Action in Krishna consciousness, inaction as he is not fighting. So see, it's not easy.
This is also a little confusing because inaction as he's not fighting, inaction has two meanings. Inaction can be not doing something, vikarma, or inaction can be doing something in service, akarma. So technically this could be right. Blue.
I have to find better of the two options, right? If in this
No,
understanding,
Prabhuji, the blue is the right answer. Inaction as is not fighting because he's not doing any karma. So in English में ये सारा confusion word है. Actually, it's what he was supposed to do. Akarma. Akarma would have been like he should have done with the Krishna consciousness. That's akarma. So the Sanskrit word and Hindi word. But in English, when you put the blue is the answer in the action in action. He did not action in action. He didn't even do fighting. So where is the action?
Yeah,
because it's in,
definitely
this is 100
green is
right.
correct.
100,
Green is
yeah, D
correct
is
for
definitely
sure.
right.
But blue, because inaction has two meanings. One is
Two
vikarma.
shlokas, it's
Let me explain Nagarjuna.
Okay.
So there is a verse, I think it was 4.18, which Krishna says action in inaction and inaction in action. Action in inaction means when you don't do something. Okay, here inaction means running away, neglecting your duty will give you results. So then it becomes an action, right? So it is by not doing your work, by neglecting your responsibility, by running
You
away
get
from
karma.
war, you get bad karmic reaction. So this is an action. Okay, so running away from war becomes an action. It's because you will get a reaction. Anything that gives you reaction will become an action. So you think you are running away from war, not doing something, will not give you reaction. That is a problem. That is what exactly Arjun was saying. Arjun was thinking, if I don't do something, I will not get a reaction. No, if you don't do something, you will get reaction. You will get a bad reaction. So this is definitely correct, action and inaction. This is loosely correct because inaction has two meanings. One is vikarma and one is akarma. So when one does not perform their duty, neglect, that gives you that is called vikarma. That can also be called inaction. Or when they do akarma, it can also be called inaction.
But Mataji, you clearly explained that Vikarma, Akarma is Nishkam Karma Yoga.
Yeah. Yes, same thing, Mataji. Right now we are just
Prabhuji,
discussing the English.
look at here. 7 people is saying blue. So what is the English thing understanding means? I totally understand what you're explaining. There is no doubt in my understanding of action and inaction as of now. But see, the word plays the big role here, but that is not the thing. The point here is we understand the concept, as Puja Mataji also saying, like Niskam is the akarma. So that is the concept. And yeah, we should.
I think we have missed some classes where I was drawing on the whiteboard, where inaction was described as both vikarma and akarma both. So please read that verse, action and inaction and inaction and action. That verse is very difficult. In that verse, does everyone remember that inaction has two meanings? I think I have to pull up that verse.
I think if everybody understands why D is correct, then they have the right understanding. If I agree that the blue is a little confusing because it has two meanings, but everybody should be clear that D is correct answer also.
So in this verse, because I explained it on the whiteboard, when we say inaction in action and action in inaction, there are two meanings of inaction. The first, what is in this one, inaction in action, what does inaction mean? Akarma or vikarma? Who will tell me? Prabhuji can tell. So there are two phrases mentioned by Krishna. Both phrases.
In action, Mataji, here it is the akarma.
Okay. This is a good thing, right? What
So
does
this
the
is a good
inaction
thing.
mean?
Basically,
What does the inaction mean here in the second phrase?
Inaction.
inaction
Refraining
means
from the duty. Yeah.
Yes. So you see, this is bad thing. Action and inaction. This is refraining
yeah,
from
because
duty.
when we refrain from our duties, we are still getting the reaction. So that
So,
action here is called reaction.
right. So,
Not
But it's,
but
fighting the war.
what I'm let me just.
yeah, it makes sense, Mataji. Option D.
So inaction has two meanings, is what Prabhuji is saying. Inaction has only one meaning. Inaction has two meanings. Inaction has the one meaning of vikarma and other meaning of akarma, depending on whether we call it like this or like this. So it has two meanings based on how you use it. But this is the most difficult verse of Bhagavad Gita, probably, because of the way phrases are used by Krishna. But like you said, everybody's concept should be clear. But since we preach, we should know what inaction, inaction, and action, inaction means. If inaction, inaction, I and A, okay, then it becomes good karma or a karma or nishkam karma. Is that clear now?
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Okay. Inaction has two meanings, okay? This is the main confusion that we're having. I have collection of all the whiteboards that I made. I can post those also in the group sometime so that you can review those. But let's keep going. We are running behind. Okay, please go on.
Person in full knowledge, devoid of sense gratificatory propensity, burns all reactions by fire of perfect knowledge. True or false? Person in full knowledge, devoid of sense gratificatory propensity, burns all reactions by the fire of perfect knowledge. It's true. Everybody got it right?
He burns only the bad reactions and not the good reactions, right?
No, all the reactions.
Okay. I was just
Nārangi is trying to
checking
trick you.
just checking to make sure that we're not trying to keep our good reactions. Okay, so all reactions, good and bad, both. Paap or punya, dono khatam hoga, not just paap. Okay, let's keep going. Next one. Almost there. Last 6.
Pick the incorrect statement. So this is time consuming. A. Materialists sacrifice their possessions for material happiness. B. Impersonalists sacrifice their identity to merge in Brahman effulgence. C. Krishna conscious people sacrifice material possessions for service of Lord. Or D. Materialists sacrifice their possessions for satisfaction of Supreme Lord. We have to pick the wrong statement. Which of these is the wrong statement?
This is long. Incorrect statement. Materialist. Okay.
Yes.
But not
so most people,
everybody's answering. I think we lost some
probably these
people.
are also Ramchandra Prabhu, I think, had left. I don't know, some issue, but I think it said that he left. And then the other thing is, this is a long question. So if you don't have the device in front of you, it's difficult, confusing.
Okay, so let's try to finish up last few.
Well executed Grihastha ashram is a kind of yajna, as householders sacrifices sense gratification for transcendental life. True or false? Yes. Everybody got it right. Most people got it right.
These
That's
are
true.
straightforward. Okay, no confusion. But we proved the point that action and action is very hard to understand. The rest of all is easy, huh? Okay, last 3 or 4 to go.
Krishna consciousness can be obtained by A. Pious activities like opening charitable institutions like hospitals, etc. B. Doing austerities like keeping vows and keeping vratas like Chaturmasya. C. Doing mystic yoga like Patanjali system or Hatha yoga or Ashtanga yoga. Or D. By mercy of Lord and his bona fide devotees. So, everybody got it right. Hari bol. That's wonderful.
Okay, so pious
Makes
activities,
sense.
mystic yoga, and austerities, they should be dovetailed. This is the last verse we read, in the service of Krishna. But ultimately, it's the mercy of the Lord and devotees. Okay, next one. Puja Mataji is like unrivaled, indomitable. Okay.
What is recommended way to learn spiritual knowledge? A. Approach a spiritual master submissively and render service unto him. B. Read the Vedas and Vedanta Sutras in seclusion. C. Doing yagnas and sacrifices mentioned in Vedas. Or D. Doing austerities and vratas, which is a recommended way for gaining spiritual knowledge. Everybody got this right? Tadviti Pranipatena.
Who can mention the number of this verse? It's a memory verse. Some of you have memorized it.
434.
Yes, perfect.
Vibhu.
Vibhu.
That was, who was that?
I think Ravi.
Devansh Prabhu or Ravi Prabhu?
It was me, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Nice.
Perfect. Okay, last two. Yes.
Some supreme spiritual peace can be attained by A. The faithful who thinks by acting in Krishna consciousness he can attain highest perfection. B. Faithful person in knowledge who subdues his senses. C. One who develops faith by chanting and controls his senses. D. All of the above.
Oh,
Bowl.
wow.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. Last question. If anybody wants to come up, please try your best. Good luck.
What happens to faithless people who doubt revealed scriptures? A. Do not attain God consciousness. B. Do not make any progress and fall down. C. Can't achieve happiness in this world or next. Or D. All of the above.
You made last ones easy. Last like 7, 8 were quite easy. Okay, so time for truth. Not the absolute truth, just the relative truth. For this game, who won? Number 3, Sheetal Mataji.
Bowl.
Wonderful. And Ravi Prabhu, number 2.
Bowl.
Number 1 is
Bowl.
Puja Mataji, 15,100 points. And then Lakshmi Mataji and Hari was Hiral Mataji. Okay, wow.
Hari
Very
bol,
nice.
Hari bol, Hari bol.
Let's chant for everyone that was on the scoreboard, everyone that won on the podium, the first 3, and then for everyone that played. So let's chant. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hari Bol.
Hari bol, Hari
Thank you
bol.
everyone for playing, and please I ask for forgiveness in case I caused any more doubts or more confusions. Apologies for that. Hare
You
Krishna.
put some tricky questions that were creating doubts. That's okay. That helps to, back to discuss these things.
I mean, I still don't understand that inaction and action thing.
That is the hardest verse of Bhagavad Gita, Mataji. All you have to remember is one thing. In that verse, inaction word has 2 meanings. Bas. Okay? Inaction is a good thing. Action in inaction is a bad thing. So in that question, when he says Arjun is running away, what is it? It is
So,
action in inaction.
Mataji, by not doing something, you are doing something bad?
Yes.
Yes. So if you're neglecting to do your duty, then you are actually accruing bad karma. So if Arjuna did not fight in the war, he would accrue bad karma from that. So that is why it is inaction. He's not doing an action, but he's not fighting, but he'll be considered that he is getting bad karma from it, because he neglected his duty as a kshatriya to uphold the dharma, and he didn't even follow Krishna's direct order. So that is the whole pretext of, if actually this is what kind of almost the whole pretext of the Bhagavad Gita is that Krishna is saying that actually by not fighting in the war, you will do wrong.
This is
Inaction
exactly
and
this.
action
This
means
is bad. Okay, this means neglecting your duty. You think I'm not doing something, or
Excuse me, Mataji.
even bikarma. You think I'm doing some. You go to work for sense gratification, right? So there is action in it. Action basically means when you get a reaction. Mataji, we discussed this. I'll have to send you that class. We have discussed this in great detail. So
yes, Mataji, I
action
missed this
basically
class.
means when you get reaction. Anytime you get a reaction, it is action. Okay. This is bad whether you're neglecting or whether you're doing something for your sense gratification, whatever you're doing. Okay. But basically inaction here means vikarma. Okay. So whether you run by running away, you're doing vikarma, by doing sense gratification, you're doing vikarma, whatever you're doing. This is not good. Inaction is good because here you are doing this thing is akarma. This whole thing is akarma. So since Nagarjuna Prabhu had this in the choice, this was the right choice. And in the other choice, he mentioned inaction, but because inaction has two meanings, that choice was somewhat correct, but to your based on your understanding, it would be loosely like half correct, half wrong kind of thing. But that choice was 100% correct. That's what I was saying. Anyways, please.
माताजी as you are no that अभी आपने कितना क्लियर बताया
No, no.
उधर व्हाइट बोर्ड को रखिए माताजी आपने जो अभी इन एक्शन बताया ना वो जो रिएक्शन वर्ड यूज करने से बहुत ज्यादा समझ में आएगा लोगों को जब आपका इन एक्शन व्हेन यू आर डूइंग इन एक्शन देन यू आर गेटिंग द रिएक्शन दैट रिएक्शन you have to understand by using the word reaction over there because when he's not fighting he's in action but then he's getting the action that action is reaction उसका जो उनको इफेक्ट पड़ेगा
Yeah,
so when
that
you
was.
do
वो सब हम प्रभु जी कर चुके हैं ना अब गेम में थोड़ी ना डिस्कस करेंगे
नहीं
We have
Mataji,
discussed
वो
all
B
this.
choice was partially correct.
That's what.
Inaction
Yeah.
was there, but the fully correct answer was action because
That's
he
what I'm
was
saying.
earning bad reaction as well in that inaction. So that was totally correct. More appropriate choice.
Exactly. So better of the two options. So when there are, हमारे exams में like in medical exams, when we have two choices that are seemingly correct, you go for the best one. So both courses are possible, but you go for the best one. But anyways, yeah, please listen to that one. This is the hardest verse anyways, so it's okay. Don't dwell on it. Don't dwell on this too much. The terminologies can be different. Please, try to join these classes because I'm trying to write on the whiteboards and I'm trying. We have discussed all this in detail. Anytime you get reaction, that is where that is what action is in this material world. Okay. Otherwise, it is akarma. If you do not get a reaction, if you do work in such a way, you do not get a reaction, then that is not called an action. Okay.
माताजी इसको अंडरस्टैंड करना जरूरी है इन रियल लाइफ टू तो
No, but if you want to explain, you are a student of Bhagavad Gita.
yes.
So you want to be very, sincere student. So why not? This is the way to
Mataji
immerse
is also
yourself.
saying. That is what Mataji is saying. That is, it's
Yeah.
important for practical.
Oh, Mataji
life.
is saying that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Achha,
Yeah.
I thought you. Yes. If we can understand these, and that's why we were discussing this point, Nagarjuna Prabhu and I don't know if you followed that discussion. Sometimes we justify our actions as inactions and inactions as actions. So ultimately, it all comes down to intention. Okay, forget all of this other stuff. What is your intention? We mislead ourselves. Our mind misleads us, and we think that our intention is pure, but actually, our intentions are typically impure. Okay, any other quick questions? Because
So basically, I'm confused now.
Mataji, you will have to hear the class. Let's just hear the class. I will send it.
Read those two verses, those 2-3 verses. Read that purport also again, and read it, and then see that class that Nārangi where she's explaining it.
It was verse 18, so I can share it with you.
So, Mataji, one clarification.
Yes.
I want to ask. The inaction, when you're saying action in inaction, so even when somebody is engaging in sense gratificatory activities, they may not necessarily be bad activities. They may not be like vikarma. That is still inaction. Is that correct?
Yes.
You may be doing good things, but you get a reaction, good things out of it. but it is not dovetailed towards Krishna consciousness.
100%.
So that's an inaction, is what
In that verse, okay? In that verse,
in that
inaction
context. Yeah.
refers to anything that is not dovetailed towards Krishna. It refers to neglecting your duty. It refers to bad activities. It refers to whimsical, Prabhupada calls them capricious activities, right? So basically just enjoying. So they're not bad, but just enjoying.
So in that verse,
Time
then
wasting.
that inaction can it be rightly referred as vikarma?
Yes,
Even
that's what I'm saying. It's vikarma. I kept saying that many times. This inaction is all vikarma.
okay,
You can all forbidden type of actions, or then you further break it down into like in other verses, Prabhupada breaks it down into those actions that give us pious results that are forbidden actions like vikarma, then they can be further divided, or they are sense gratification like time waste type of actions, जैसे watching TV है ना, या जो भी ऐसा, they are capricious actions, but all of these are entangling. So all of these are
I think
clubbed
chapter
into
2
action.
he explains that. Yes, Mataji. Yes. Okay.
Ravi Prabhu nicely referred to the fact that any action that gives you reaction is typically referred to as action. Okay? Other than that, it is all akarma. So in Hindi, like he was saying, in Hindi it is easy to understand because we say nishkam karma or akarma. In English it becomes confusing because inaction word can be used for because that phrase is difficult. Just that phrase, just that verse is difficult. Action in inaction and inaction in action. Just that switch of the word inaction is difficult for people to understand. कि कहाँ पे inaction का क्या meaning है.
Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Inaction becomes akarma. Okay, वहाँ पर akarma उसका मतलब है. So just please read it. It's not that hard to understand. You're very advanced people, very smart, very acute intelligence. So this is not very hard for you to understand. Harder to apply actually. All right, we'll stop for today. Please join us tomorrow. We have a program at Rekha Mataji's house in the evening. We'll continue our Narsinga Prahlad Katha. We'll discuss some more lessons and take some nice stories and different go into different tangents of discussion. Thank you so much for joining. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Jai Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vanchakatruvischa kripa sandhya visha patata nam pavnebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.